Okay, so I went on a date with a magician, and I know you're all literally jealous, so relax, but I want to tell you what happened because... So I was at my friend's wedding, which is like my favorite type of wedding because I don't know anyone. Show up, show out, dip. So I pull up and, you know, it's a cute time. It was a smaller wedding, you know, slim poikins, and I see a man in the distance. I think he's cute. Is that a crime? People didn't agree with me. People tend to tell me that the men I find attractive are unappealing to the masses. And I say, okay, what's your point? I'm trying to like do my makeup at the same time as telling the story. What am I doing? Okay, I just did some Deutsch. Being me is cool. Okay. Concealer. So I'm not gonna talk to him because I actually can't imagine ever approaching a man ever. That's so terrifying. I don't even know what I'd say. I'm already like kind of awkward. And he comes up to me and he's just like, I like your dress. And I was like, we're in. So I start talking to him and then we like kind of fade away into the night. I'm dancing with my friend and then I see him at a table doing little card tricks for these kids. I'm like, oh my God, the father of my child is gonna be a magician. So after the kids disperse, I go over to him, I'm like, what's up with those cards? And he was like, you tell me. I was like, I can't tell you because I don't know how to do magic. He was like, yeah, okay. So he did a little like magic for me and he was telling me that he works in finance and does magic on the side. And I was like, okay, a well-rounded man. That's my man. So anyways, ever heard of wedding goggles? Because let me tell you, those bad boys were on. And he was like, and we were dancing and, you know, I don't drink and he was getting kind of sloshed and we were on the dance floor and he like tried to lean in for the kiss and I was like, yeet, no. And then I didn't really like talk to him that much for the rest of the night because he was getting hammered and I was like, yeah, I want nothing to do with that. But I gave him my number. I was like, text me tomorrow. I didn't think anything of it. I knew he was gonna text me. Anyway, so he texted me and I was living in New York at the time and he was like, I want to take you to this bar. And it was that bar in Gossip Girl that Serena's like drinking at that one time when like Chuck Bass shows up at the same time as her and he's like, I'll get you a grilled cheese in the back, and then he creeps on her. That bar. I hope anyone knows what I'm talking about. Probably don't, but anyways, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I'll go on this date with this magician finance man. Why not? And so anyways, the day the date comes, it's pouring rain and my Uber to the bar is $50. And I was like, I can't like ask him to buy me an Uber. I've never met him. I was like, he does work in finance. He makes a lot of money. But I was like, no, let me stand up. I'll just buy the Uber. Oh my God, it like hurt my spirit. And then, so I show up to the bar and I was like, he was cute. He wasn't in a suit dazzling me with magic, so some of the appeal did wear off. And I was like, you bring the cards? He was like, no. I was like, yeah, no, why would you? And that would have been weird if he did, in retrospect. But anyways, we sit down and like, he is talking so loud. Like, you know, when people talk so loud in public that other people are like staring at you. Oh, I hate it. I'm like, shh, like you don't need to yell. You're screaming about your favorite foods. Like I swear the people next to us don't care that you love a lemon meringue. They don't, they just don't. And so, oh my God. So he's screaming and he's not asking me like any questions. I'm like, when you were hammered, you were asking me questions left and right. Where's that pizzazz? Yeah, he wasn't asking me any questions. And I was like, oh my God, when is this gonna be over? Like, I literally cannot believe. And it was just like not fun. It would be like, he was just like boring. He was like telling me about his job and like distressed debt. And I was like, yeah, I get being stressed about being in debt. He was like, no, that's not what that is. And I was like, oh my God, stop it. And anyways, the night ends. Thank God. And he was like, should we continue this party? And I was like, no, we actually can't. I gotta go. And I did have to go because I had a early morning shift at the sober living I was working at. Which he didn't even ask me about that job. And I think that's a cool job. And he like didn't even care. He was like, you worked at a sober living? Didn't ask. Anyways, so that was pretty atrocious, but so this is the best part. All I ordered was a Diet Coke because I don't drink. So it was like, and he paid for it, which was nice. And it was like, I looked at my Lyft and it was like a $60 or $70 Uber home. And I was like, I cannot afford to drop like $110 to get Diet Coke with this magician finance man. And so I just swallowed my pride and I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if you got me an Uber home? And he was like, and he was literally telling me about how much money he makes at his job. And like, I know you can't like expect people to do that for you, but I don't care. This is my truth. And he goes, you know what? I'll look at the Uber prices. You look at the Lyft prices. And my friend loves this story. And he was like, I'll look at the Uber prices. You look at the Lyft prices. And whichever price is cheaper is the one we'll buy. And so I was like, okay. So I look at the Uber prices or whatever. And I'm like feeling so awkward about this at this point where I'm like, I just can't. And like, I was like, I'm just gonna buy it. I don't even care. Like, this is so uncomfortable. I've never gotten a response like that. And but I've never like asked someone to give me, that's a lie I have. But anyways, they're usually like, yeah, I don't know. But he was like, whichever one's cheaper is the one that I'll get. And so I open up my Uber and he just looks over at my phone. He's like, oh yeah, that one's cheaper. You gotta buy that one. And I was like, okay. So I buy it and I'm just like, I just want him to leave at this point. Like, the date was just like so bad. He was so loud. He was talking so much. I'm like, oh my God, this is like why I barely go on dates. I was like, oh my God. So he's like, I'll wait for your Uber like a gentleman. And I was like, will you? Thanks. And so now we bake. So he's like, I'll wait for your Uber like a gentleman. And I was like, okay, great. And so I'm like, okay, it's here. And I'm like flustered and he leads me into a car. The person's like, for Jenna. And I was like, no, I'm Kate. He led me into the wrong Uber. So then I like have to get out, but he's like still kind of there. So I have to like slowly get out so I don't have to like talk to him again. And then I find my Uber and then I get home. And that was my experience with a magician. Was it magical? You tell me. Probably not, but I don't know, we live and we learn. That was definitely like not my worst date. Let me tell you. Got a lot of stories for those. Got a lot of date stories. We love it, living in New York. Now I live in LA. And I like need a date more here. I like don't do it at all. Cause I'm just like, I don't got it in me. Maybe soon. Maybe it's, you know, summer's coming up. I'll get a mocktail with a lad. I'll be crying the whole time now. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, that's just a little story about me. I hope that was relatable.